You know, there's this common idea floating around that we should strive to control everything around us to find peace. Control our circumstances, our relationships, even the weather if we could. But that, my friend, is a fool's errand. The Stoics, especially Epictetus, turned this notion on its head centuries ago. He famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that simple truth is the cornerstone of living authentically. Think about that for a moment. True freedom isn't about bending the world to your will. It's about mastering your own internal responses. When you wake up and the day throws you a curveball, maybe a missed train, a difficult conversation, or a sudden change of plans, what's within your power is your reaction, not the event itself. This distinction between what is within our control and what isn't is a kind of mental filter. It helps us focus our energy on what truly matters and let go of the rest. I remember reading Epictetus's Enchiridion and feeling this profound shift inside me. It was like being handed a compass in a stormy sea. Instead of fighting waves I couldn't change, I started steering my ship by adjusting my sails, my thoughts, my judgments, my attitudes. This doesn't mean ignoring reality or passively accepting hardship. It means engaging with life on your own terms, guided by reason and virtue. Now, why is this so crucial for authenticity? Because living authentically means living in alignment with your true nature, not some external script or societal expectation. The Stoics believe that human nature is rational and social. We are designed to reason, to seek virtue, and to contribute to the common good. When we lose sight of that, when we chase after fame, wealth, or fleeting pleasures, we drift away from ourselves. Authenticity is about coming back home to that rational core, that spark of wisdom and goodness inside. Embracing Stoic principles invites us to cultivate self-awareness. This isn't the trendy self-awareness that's about boosting your personal brand or managing impressions. No, it's a deeper, more rigorous practice of examining your beliefs, your judgments, and your impulses. But here's where many stumble. It's tempting to blame external factors for our unhappiness. If only this person behaved differently, or if only my circumstances were better. Stoicism calls us to turn the gaze inward, not to foster unhealthy self-blame, but to reclaim responsibility for our mental states. This is where authentic living takes root, when you stop being a victim of circumstance and start being the steward of your own soul. Now, you might wonder, isn't it cold or detached to focus on internal control and let go of external things? Actually, no. Stoicism is not about shutting down emotions or becoming indifferent to life. It's about understanding emotions, not being ruled by them. It's about cultivating a wise and compassionate heart that can face suffering without being overwhelmed. Imagine you're walking through a forest and suddenly a storm breaks out. You can't stop the rain or the wind, but you can pull your cloak tighter, find shelter, and keep moving forward. Stoicism is that cloak, your mental armor that protects you from the chaos outside. To live authentically, then, is to embrace this inner mastery. It means waking up each day with the intention to act according to reason and virtue, regardless of the external noise. It means recognizing that the only true freedom is freedom over yourself. This is why self-awareness is not a luxury, but a necessity. It's the foundation upon which authenticity is built. You have to get to know yourself deeply, your fears, your desires, your habitual thoughts. Only then can you begin to choose your responses consciously instead of reacting blindly. And here's something I've learned over the years. This kind of self-mastery isn't about perfection, it's about progress. You don't have to be a Stoic sage overnight. Even small moments of reflection, a pause before reacting, a breath to steady your mind, can shift the course of your day. If you want to live authentically, start by embracing the distinction Epictetus taught. Focus on what's within your control, accept what isn't, and cultivate your inner virtues. This isn't just philosophy. It's a practical guide to navigating life's unpredictability with grace. So next time life throws you a challenge, ask yourself, what can I control here? How can I respond with wisdom and virtue? The answer might surprise you, and you might find that true freedom is not out there in the world, but right here inside you. Perception is everything. When you change how you see things, you change how you live. The obstacle on your path becomes the way forward when viewed through the lens of Stoicism. Remember, Authentic living starts with knowing yourself. Not the image you project, not the mask you wear, but the real you beneath it all. The you who can choose your response, who can stand firm amidst the storms, who can live according to nature and reason. If you want to live authentically, you have to embrace discomfort. You have to be willing to look inward, face your shadows, and take responsibility. But the reward is profound, a life of clarity, resilience, and genuine freedom. And that, my friend, is the beginning of the Stoic journey toward genuine self-understanding. Now that we've set the stage by understanding the importance of mastering our internal responses, let's move deeper into what this mastery looks like in practice. Because self-awareness alone is not enough. You see, the Stoics were clear. Authentic living isn't just about knowing yourself. It's about becoming the best version of yourself through the practice of virtue. Virtue, in Stoic philosophy, is the highest good. It's not some abstract, unreachable ideal, but a practical guide for how to live well. The four cardinal virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, are the pillars that support an authentic, meaningful life. And embodying these virtues is what aligns your actions with your true nature. Let's start with wisdom. Wisdom is more than just knowledge. It's the ability to discern what is good, what is bad, and what is indifferent. It's the compass that guides your decisions, helping you see beyond immediate gratification or fear. Wisdom reminds us that external things, money, status, even health, are ultimately indifferent. What matters is how we use them, how we respond to them, and how we cultivate our inner character. Then there's courage. This isn't just physical bravery, but moral courage. The strength to do what's right even when it's difficult or unpopular. It's about standing firm in your principles, facing adversity without shrinking away, and speaking truth even when it's uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, embodied this when he led Rome through plague and war, writing quietly to himself about the importance of enduring hardship with dignity. Justice is another key virtue. It's the recognition that we are social beings, connected to others, and that living authentically means acting fairly and with respect toward everyone. Justice calls us to contribute to the common good, to treat others as ends in themselves, not merely as means to our own ends. It's a powerful reminder that our personal growth is intertwined with the welfare of our community. Finally, temperance, the virtue of self-control and moderation. In a world obsessed with excess, temperance is the steady hand that keeps us balanced. It teaches us to resist impulsive desires, to avoid overindulgence, and to find contentment in simplicity. Temperance is what allows us to live in harmony with nature rather than being slaves to fleeting passions. Now, embodying these virtues isn't about achieving perfection. It's about consistent effort, small intentional choices made every day. Authenticity grows in these moments of practice. When you choose wisdom over impulse, courage over fear, justice over selfishness, and temperance over excess. Marcus Aurelius's Meditations is a treasure trove here. He didn't write for an audience. He wrote for himself, as a series of reminders to stay on the Stoic path. One passage might catch your eye. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Simple, yet profound. It's a daily call to integrity, to aligning your actions and words with your values. Reflection and self-discipline are essential tools in this journey. Journaling, like Marcus did, can help track your progress, confront your failures honestly, and celebrate your growth. It's not about beating yourself up, but about cultivating awareness and commitment. When you write, "Today I acted with courage when I spoke up for what I believed in," or "I faltered in patience, but I will do better tomorrow," you're nurturing virtue through intentional reflection. I once had a conversation with an old mentor who told me, "Virtue is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets." It stuck with me. Every time you choose to act justly, wisely, courageously, or moderately, you're strengthening that muscle. And over time, it becomes easier to live authentically because your character is firmly rooted in these virtues. But, of course, life throws all kinds of challenges at us that test these virtues. The coworker who frustrates you, the temptation to cut corners, the fear that holds you back from taking risks. Here's where the Stoic mindset really shines. It teaches us to meet these challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to practice virtue. Say you're tempted to lash out in anger. The virtue of temperance invites you to pause, breathe, and choose a response that reflects your higher self. Or imagine facing a situation that calls for courage, maybe standing up against unfair treatment. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it, grounded in your commitment to what's right. You see, practicing virtue is the path to authenticity because it's about aligning your actions with your deepest values and your rational nature. It's easy to say we want to be authentic, but without virtue, authenticity can become just another mask, another form of self-interest disguised as honesty. Virtue grounds authenticity in something bigger than ourselves. It reminds us that living genuinely means living well, not only for ourselves, but for those around us. When you act with justice, you're honoring your role as a social being. When you cultivate wisdom, you're steering your life with clarity. When you exercise courage, you're refusing to be a passive bystander. When you practice temperance, you're finding freedom from the tyranny of impulse. And here's something that might surprise you. Virtue isn't joyless or rigid. Far from it. Living a virtuous life leads to a kind of flourishing, a deep sense of fulfillment and peace that comes from knowing you're living true to yourself. This is what the Stoics called eudaimonia, often translated as flourishing or happiness, but it's really about living in harmony with your nature. I want to share a brief story from history. Seneca, another great Stoic, faced exile and immense personal hardship, but continued to write about virtue as the true source of happiness. He once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." For Seneca, virtue and presence were intertwined. Living virtuously meant living fully in the moment, regardless of external circumstances. So, we see that practicing virtue isn't some lofty ideal reserved for philosophers or emperors. It's a practical, daily endeavor. Every choice you make either moves you closer to or farther from authenticity. When tempted to compromise your values for convenience, remember that virtue is the compass guiding you back. If you want to live authentically, you have to embrace discomfort. Choosing virtue often means resisting easy pleasures or confronting difficult truths. It means showing up honestly, even when it's hard. But this discomfort is not punishment. It's the forge in which character is shaped. Perception is everything here. When you view challenges as chances to practice virtue, you shift your experience from frustration to opportunity. The obstacle on your path becomes the way forward. This mindset transforms daily life from a series of trials into a meaningful journey of growth. You might wonder how to keep this going amid the hustle and noise of modern life. The answer lies in daily reflection and discipline. Set aside time to check in with yourself. Did I act with wisdom today? Did I show courage when needed? Did I treat others justly? Was I moderate in my desires? These questions aren't meant to induce guilt, but to nurture awareness and intention. Virtue is the highest good, not because it guarantees external success or happiness, but because it aligns you with your true self and the natural order. When you live according to virtue, you live in harmony with nature, reason, and community. This harmony is the essence of authenticity. So, as you go about your day, remember, authenticity isn't just about being yourself. It's about being your best self. It's about cultivating wisdom to see clearly, courage to act boldly, justice to treat others fairly, and temperance to live with balance. This is the path the Stoics laid out, a path we can all walk, step by step. If you want to live authentically, practice virtue relentlessly. It's not about perfection, but perseverance. It's not about grand gestures, but consistent choices. And in this practice, you will find not only your true self, but a life of integrity and meaning. Now, having explored the foundation of self-mastery and the practice of virtue, let's turn to one of the most profound lessons Stoicism offers: embracing life's impermanence and living with purpose. This is where authentic living takes on a deeper, more urgent meaning. Because, if there's one thing the Stoics understood better than most, it's that life is fleeting and uncertain. And yet, rather than despair, they teach us to find freedom and meaning in this reality. Imagine for a moment how different life would feel if you truly accepted that everything around you, your possessions, your status, your health, even your loved ones, is transient. This is not a morbid fixation on death, but a clear-eyed recognition of impermanence. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reminded himself of mortality, not to depress himself, but to sharpen his focus on what truly matters. When you grasp that life is short and unpredictable, you start to see that clinging to external success or fleeting pleasures is like trying to hold water in your hands. It slips away no matter how tightly you grasp. Authentic living, then, is about orienting yourself toward what endures: reason, virtue, and purposeful action. This acceptance of impermanence is liberating. It frees you from the tyranny of attachment to things beyond your control. Instead of being ruled by fear of loss or change, you learn to live fully in the present moment. The Stoics called this living according to nature, not resisting the flow of life, but moving with it, with awareness and intention. I recall a time when I lost something valuable to me, a job opportunity that I had hoped would define my career. At first, it felt like a catastrophe. But then, reflecting on Stoic teachings, I realized that my identity wasn't tied to that role. What mattered was how I responded, how I continued to act with purpose and integrity. This shift in perspective changed everything. Instead of despair, I found motivation to pursue new paths aligned with my values. This is the heart of Stoic acceptance, not resignation, but proactive engagement. It's about acknowledging what you cannot change without wasting energy on resistance or regret. Epictetus said it simply: make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. This wisdom encourages us to focus on our actions and attitudes, the things within our control, and to meet life's uncertainties with equanimity. The practice of living with purpose in the face of impermanence calls for mindfulness. It asks us to be present and intentional in our choices, refusing to be swept away by distraction or the pursuit of superficial goals. When you live with purpose, each action becomes meaningful, each moment an opportunity to express your values. There's a story about the Roman general Scipio Africanus, who, despite his victories and fame, would remind himself daily that he was mortal. This reflection didn't diminish his achievements. Rather, it deepened his appreciation for each day and sharpened his commitment to serve with honor. Authenticity, then, is not just about being true to yourself in a static sense. It's about constantly realigning with what truly matters as life unfolds. It's about embracing change and uncertainty as part of the journey, not obstacles to happiness. This mindset also guards against the trap of measuring your worth by external markers: wealth, status, or approval. The Stoics urge us to find our value in living according to reason and virtue. When you accept life's impermanence, you stop chasing illusions and start cultivating inner riches that no loss can take away. I remember a passage from Seneca that struck me deeply. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. This is a call to wakefulness, to use the time we have wisely and purposefully. Authentic living demands that we confront the reality of our limited time and ask, am I living in accordance with my values? Am I acting with intention? This question becomes a compass, guiding your decisions amid life's uncertainties. It transforms the anxiety of impermanence into a motivation for clarity and action. Instead of postponing your true self for some future moment, you begin to embody it now. Perception is everything here. When you see impermanence not as loss, but as a reminder of life's preciousness, your priorities shift. The obstacle on your path, the fear of change, the pain of loss, becomes the way forward, a catalyst for deeper engagement with life. Living authentically in this light means embracing vulnerability. It means accepting that suffering and loss are inevitable, but that your response to them is your own. This acceptance doesn't dull your emotions. It deepens your capacity for gratitude, compassion, and courage. So, how do you cultivate this acceptance and purposeful living? It starts with daily reflection and mindfulness, pausing to remind yourself of life's transient nature and recommitting to your values. Journaling can be a powerful tool here, helping you track your intentions and confront distractions or attachments that pull you away from authenticity. It's also about practicing gratitude for the present moment and the people around you. When you recognize that everything is temporary, appreciation naturally follows. This gratitude fuels resilience and joy, even amid hardship. I want to share one last thought from Marcus Aurelius. Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. This is a call to urgent authenticity, not waiting for some perfect future, but living virtuously and purposefully now. Accept what you cannot control, yes, but do not passively drift. Choose to act with intention, to align your life with reason and virtue, and to find meaning in the midst of impermanence. This is the essence of authentic living through the Stoic lens. If you want to live authentically, you have to embrace discomfort. You have to accept life's uncertainties and impermanence without losing sight of your purpose. And in doing so, you cultivate a life that is not only resilient, but deeply meaningful. This is the Stoic way, not to escape life's challenges, but to meet them head-on, with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance, knowing that each moment is a gift and an opportunity to live authentically.